Hello everybody, welcome to Srcret's latest video. Today, we have the privilege of having the legendary Ungar himself with us today. So, Ungar, would you like to say hi to the loving audience?
Hello everybody, my name is Ungar, and welcome to Srcret's video, I guess.
Thank you for doing the intro for me, because I'm terribly bad at intros and do not have a Srcret intro to this day. But this interview is going to be about your recent upcoming game you've been working on your channel, Entity Infestation. Now, first up, to anyone who doesn't know, would you like to describe it really quickly to the audience?
So, Entity Infestation is a survival horror game based on the backrooms. I didn't really like any of the options out there, so I'm like, why not give it a try? I want to make games eventually, and this would be like a good starter project. Seems pretty simple, and hint, hint, it wasn't.
And so you like a bit about like a bit of your inspiration like in that answer, but did you have any kind of like real world inspirations for the particular game, or did you just like kind of want to get something to start things off that was different from the other games?
I mean, really, the inspiration is just the backrooms, like the real concept, like the original one, is what I really find interesting, and I took a lot of inspiration from that, along with Kane Pixel's backroom series was also very nice. There's also a YouTuber called The Librarian. His commentary about liminal spaces I find very interesting, along with a bunch of other smaller inspiration parts for the game, but I'd say just the original backrooms and Kane Pixels and liminal space, really. It's not really a true just backrooms game. Eventually I'm going to make more just liminal space areas.
And are there going to be like specific like mechanics or like things like the player can actually do that will differentiate it from other backrooms-esque games as well?
Yes, most backrooms games are sort of just like walking simulators and running from horrible monsters that just chase you and aren't really that intelligent. So I feel like having things like puzzles to gain resources, like maybe there's a room with power and a sealed off door and you're going to starve, so you have to go and find the power boxes to open up the door with a ton of goodies behind it. And maybe the monsters will be able to hear you, because there's a few games that I know monsters actually use voice detection to find you, and just smarter AI is something I definitely want to include to make the monsters feel realistic and scary.
And speaking about these monsters, focusing on the title in particular, Entity Infestation. I know in the past you've mentioned that one of the most important things about it is like the liminal space, the eerie feeling that it gives you. So why exactly is it called Entity Infestation if the entities aren't really the central aspect?
That was made a while back, and I honestly just hadn't thought to rename it when I started just like actually thinking about the project. I am planning on having maybe like a super hard difficulty, like sort of like how other games have like a final boss or like extreme nightmare difficulty mode called Infestation, which is just going to be the center of the backrooms where all of the main enemies are organized and centered around, which is going to be a very difficult game mode, which is, that hub area is called the Infestation.
And I know obviously you can't come up with an actual amount like right now, probably because you're going to continue to keep adding more and more content to the game. But do you have an approximate like estimate of how many different species of entities you're going to probably have in the game?
Probably over 30. There's planned to be 10 levels. I'd like to at least 2 unique ones for each level, and just a bunch of other ones that you can find on each level. And honestly, I'm probably going to add more levels and entities depending on how much I enjoy making this game.
As long as it doesn't pose too difficult and aggravating. And speaking of those aggravations as well, so far in your development, you went through a lot of ups and downs. But these are 2 questions which kind of go hand in hand. Which thing in development are you the most proud of so far that you've actually been able to do and get through, persevere, and what has been the most grueling part that you never want to have to experience in your life ever again?
Okay, I have very easy answers for this. The most enjoyable and the part I'm most proud of is definitely the AI. He is in a very simple form right now. Definitely not what I want him to be, but already he's a much scarier foe than every other entity I've come across in any normal Backrooms game. The Smiler is just very, very scary, even though he's only like halfway done and very broken. But the parts that do work make him a formidable and terrifying foe to fight against. And the most grueling part was easily the map generation. It was just so lame going through over and over again to see if the rooms would line up correctly and building them all out. And that part I am going to have to continue doing for making new levels, new generation, and obviously new rooms with some of the puzzles and things that I was talking about. So sadly I will have to do that again, but I really, really do not want to work on map generation at all.
So this next one is a question that has probably been on a lot of people's minds recently, and even as far as probably the beginning as development has gone. I'm sure you're even probably very, very tired of people such as Kurgo repeatedly asking every chance that they can get, when does Entity Infestation release? And with these hardships that you just mentioned, do you think that there's even a chance that you might be able to predict some sort of release date, or maybe even a range to when we might get its initial release?
The initial release will probably be near end of this month or sometime in December. By 2024, initial release with bugs being all fixed and stuff, so like a bug fix for the initial version, I'm hoping to get out by 2024. But the base release, buggy and all, just the first ever release, should come out near the end of this month, hopefully.
Alright, that's some pretty good news to look forward to. Now, while we're waiting though, so I know that there's a chance that, to avoid spoilers and stuff, you might not want to answer this question, but is there anything that you're possibly willing to give away relating to story, like the protagonist, the little like being, like lovingly shaped being that they are, like just like anything that might hint to us about what exactly the entire place is, how they got there, and what these entities are?
I can't really give much away as I haven't really thought about the story all that much. Right now my main focus is actually getting a good game together because gameplay always beats story. But it is, I would say, unexpected. It's a little weird because, as I said, I haven't really thought about it all that much. But it's not like I don't really know how to put the story without spoiling its skeleton. There's really not much meat I can give you about just the innards of the story and how it's going to play out right now, because I don't have any smaller details. I just have big stuff right now. But it should be fun. The story should be an interesting little quest to figure out.
I can vibe with that. Just that one thing about it being like a bit crazy and unexpected, even though that does get me really excited and hyped up for when the game might actually release. At the same time, knowing that I myself am going to have to dig through all the lore, do all the uncovering myself, not exactly getting the most happy in that regard, that I'm most likely going to get a bunch of things wrong if the story seems as wacky and like whatever as you're saying so far. Two more questions left. The final one is going to be one about your channel, like as like a whole in general, but this is the final one currently about Entity Infestation. So, money-wise, when it does actually release, I remember you originally mentioning that most likely in its initial release, it's probably going to be free, but that might change later on to its development as more content is added, and even if a DLC does end up occurring, if there ends up being need for it, like what will your price ranges for those end up being? And how long will it remain free for?
I haven't thought much about the price as well. As I said, I'm just mainly focusing on the gameplay, but it will be free just so that everyone who has supported the game for a long while since before it has even been released can get their nice free copy as a little thank you for supporting the game, 100% free. And I believe the way I plan on working it is fleshing out the first level and then working on other things and going level by level, fully furnishing them and making them enjoyable and unique experiences. So once the first level is totally done and the second one releases in its shell state, just how like the first one is now, then the price range will probably increase to about $1 or maybe a little less, maybe a little more. It really depends on how fleshed out I can make this first level and how fun everyone believes it to be. It's really just how worth it I think the game is. I'll change the price as more updates come out.
Okay. I'm pretty glad to hear that. Especially as we all know, based on the games that I play on my channel, I clearly do not have enough money to sustain any new sorts of things. So, glad to hear about that pricing, though, as you said, it may end up changing later on, depending on how worth it the game ends up being, but personally, based on all of the videos that I have seen in your devlog so far, and that anyone can see by checking out Ungar's videos using the link in the description to this video. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Definitely going to be very worth it, at least in my opinion. And even if it does end up remaining low cost, I feel like you do deserve the money thanks to all of your struggles through what you've been put through so far. But that final question regarding the channel. So, currently, if people end up like having followed the Srcret 2-year anniversary in my stream on my channel, they would have seen that Srcret has a new redesign. Your channel icon also has a new redesign. But Ungar as a character, we haven't seen any sort of design for. Not to mention an actual face reveal towards the person behind the channel, who I'm speaking to at this very moment in time. We have no idea when such a thing might actually end up happening. So could you shed some light to, if you ever do intend to do a face reveal someday, and maybe what sort of subscriber count they're willing to do such a thing at, or maybe like if you're just planning on possibly doing a reveal of Ungar, the character's actual design, and when that might be.
So I'm planning on doing a face reveal near 1,000 subscribers. That could change, but somewhere around that 1,000 milestone is when I'm planning to do my face reveal. And the Ungar character will be revealed when I start devlogs on the game that focuses on him and his faction and such. Lil Benny is also a key character in the Ungar cinematic universe, along with the channel icon, is sort of reminiscent of his character, color-wise and design choice-wise. So if you want little hints at what the characters are going to look like, Little Binny and channel icon are where to go to until that happens, which honestly probably won't be for a couple of years because I have a few other projects I'm planning on working on before doing Ungar and his things. And yeah, the face reveal around 1,000 subscribers if everything goes to plan.
Okay. Well, that is pretty much it for my current questions. If anybody else has any possible questions, it would be a good thing to leave them in the comments, or maybe in the future when this other game that Ungar has mentioned possibly does end up releasing. If new questions about Entity Infestation have arisen by that point in time, and if I end up doing some other interview with Ungar anytime soon, or maybe even a few years, if you guys did enjoy this, please leave a like and subscribe, not just to my channel, but also to Ungar, because he is working so hard to get this game out since when exactly? Ungar?
Yes?
So,
I cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. Like, how long has the game been in development for?
Honestly, I can find pictures and screenshots on my phone and such from, like, around October of last year. It's been over a year now since I've really started developing it. I've had the project for about 2 years, but until a year ago, it was literally just a cube in the middle of nowhere. I kind of just forgot about it for a little while.
Yeah. So, once again, definitely recommend supporting Ungar by giving his channel a subscribe. And don't forget to subscribe to mine as well. I am a smaller channel in comparison to Ungar, so I would really, really appreciate it if whoever's watching this video would like to become a member of the Srcret community as well, and if maybe Ungar might even want to direct some of his own fans over to my channel and give it a subscribe as well. I would not object to that, I must say, Ungar. Insert chuckle here. And that's going to be it for now. Do you have any statements that you would like to say before we end this off really quickly?
Now that I can think of at the moment, I believe that's everything. If that's all the questions you have for me, I am done.
Well, I physically cannot do an outro, or I will just continue to tell them to like and subscribe for the next, 20 minutes. So would you like to do the outro instead, perchance?
Alright, so, yeah, as he said, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!